Righto, we've got the tails on, the fins. I'm just going to give it a undercoat. When I give it this undercoat, it'll show out all the blemishes. Turbo mullet, or even sometimes you see those mullet flick into their side through the weed and stuff, and it gives it like that, gives a nice white flash. How we going? So in this video I'm going to go through a lure make on this new swim bait I've designed and made. It's an oversized 320mm mullet imitation. I'm going to try and fish it this wet season for as long as I can and try and attempt to catch a couple of really big barra on it. So over the years I've made plenty of these more fisher friendly size lures around the 180mm mark, 200mm mark, all sort of along the same lines as these big mullet we get here in the Ord River. But this video I'm going to actually build something a bit ridiculous in size. It's actually a big 320mm mullet swim bait, a lot of weight in it. It's actually hard to get to swim perfectly, but yeah, I'll go through it. So in this episode I'll show you the basic build and why I've done it the way I have and etc, and then hopefully I'll have a couple more videos out in the next few months of actually fishing this thing and with a bit of luck catching a couple of big barra on it would be nice. But it's heavy, it weighs well over 200 grams, which will be a real challenge to cast all day, but I'm looking forward to it. So I'll go through this video and I'll show you the basic make and why I've made it the way I have. We'll just trace this one now. We'll cut him out with a jigsaw. Alright, I missed that. I just cut that out of this then with a jigsaw. Sorry, I wasn't filming. Now we're going to have a fair time at it sanding this up. It's big turbo mullet. Well, that's going to be a big hunk of a lure, this thing. Fair bit of sanding to go yet, but yeah, I'll come back to it once I've sanded it down a bit. a bit worried about how this is going to swim. Might take a little bit more off the belly. When they're a bit deep, they tend to roll to the side a bit. Right, I've got these scales tacked in place now, so I'm going to put this undercoat on. Right, I want to try and do the gill plates now, like this mullet. Trace this under there. Right, I'm going to glue on a few of these fins. Put the tail fin on. Put a centering line down there. Hold a bit of pressure on it. It's a little bit long, but I'll grind that off. Once again, I'm using this Loctite 406. So good for this stuff. It's one of the best super glues I've ever come across. It's pretty pricey, but does a brilliant job. Leave these pectoral fins on. Just trace the line so that when it comes to gluing them, I can get them on pretty easy. Otherwise, it's bloody hard trying to line them up all the time. I'll sand them down later and put the shapes on them for more detail, sorry. So I'll let this dry. It'll be a big bait, this. Alright, we'll let that dry. Alright, I've put a couple more of these fins on. I'm going to build this tail up now with some of this builder's bog. There's a few different sorts of builder's bog you can get, but this one seems to be the best. That's Sally's plastic pond. Goes off rock hard. It's about spent though, this one. Just getting a bit dried out. Dig down the bottom to get it. I'll just build that up around the tail. Goes off pretty quick. bit like that. We'll let that dry. Righto, we've got the tails on, the fins. I'm just going to give it a undercoat. When I give it this undercoat, it'll show out all the blemishes. Put it on pretty thick, it sort of shrinks and dries up. It'll show me all the little defects in it. I'll have to go back and bog up. Anyway, we'll let this dry. Alright, I've been playing around with this for the last few hours. I've got all the fins on it. And I've been doing a bit of work with the tail. I'm really happy how it's come out. The shape's unreal. I made the tail pretty small in comparison to the size of the lure itself. I didn't want it to be too big and thumping. I just want it to be really subtle when it goes through the water, so a little bit worried that this tail won't be big enough to get that tail rolling, but we'll see. If it doesn't work, I can always remold it with a bigger tail, but yeah, that's it. I'm going to give it a spray in a minute with primer, and yeah, we'll see how it comes out with primer, a few little defects to fix up, and then we'll fix it into the box and give it a top coat. Anyway, it's starting to take shape and starting to look pretty good. Yeah. Liking it. Righto, it's time to form this up and pouring. Big 320mm swim bait been working on. Righto, let's get this silicone ready. Righto, let's take this beast apart. Good thing about using this glue, there's no screws to undo. You should just pull it all apart. In theory. I should always mark the tail and the head end, but I know this is the head end because it's got this still here. You always pull it away from the tail end first. That's a bit of a win. I didn't damage the mould, so if I want to I can pour another one of these, put him back. A bit of paint stuck here, but it's not a big deal. Actually, it's a big mould. Few little dags to cut off. How good this rain! Bucketing down. Cure for 24 hours. Righto, that rain's calmed down out there. Now I'm going to insert these lead weights I made up into the body. So I fill them up about a 1/3 and then put these in. This one's got a fair bit of weight in it. I give it a hit with the heat gun just so it laminates together well. Get that melding. We'll fill him up. So that's got those lead weights inserted in it. Leave that. I've got a little bit more over here I'll top it up with in a minute. Righto, you might be able to hear me a bit better now. That rain's backed off out there. I've given this probably about 20 minutes to dry. Like I said, it was just done out of remelt, so not expecting anything too spectacular. It's just going to be a pretty basic colour straight up. But, oh, that's come out excellent. Little air bubble in there, but pretty happy with the way that's come out. Trim that up. Anyway, I'll let it sit here and cure for another 20 minutes and then we'll paint him up and have a look at it. It's got the weights in there. We'll leave that there to set and we'll come back and paint him up. Righto, we've got the big bait now, we've let it cure. Now let's get some scales on it and get it to start looking a little bit lifelike. I'll start off on the top with a pretty dark colour and then just blend it in. Starting to take shape, like a big turbo. Just put a bit of black on the tips of the fins. Turn him over and do the other side. Looking good, like it. Get some eyes on him and he'll start coming alive. Alright, we've done the paint job on him, now we're going to get some eyes on him. Sometimes these lures, they look kind of average, but then you put a set of eyes on them and it just brings the actual lure to life, so to speak. We'll glue these on. Once again, I'm using the Loctite 406. You can see what I mean. You get that eye on that lure, it just brings it to life. Looks so good. Big heavy turbo mullet. We'll glue the one on the other side and we'll go out and test it in 10 minutes. Righto, we've got him ready to go. Got the harness on. Ready to test him out. It's got a little bit of a slight lean on it, so what I've done, I actually made some of these belly weights up last night. They're just a weight with a corkscrew in them. You can buy them from Sweden and that. The pike guys use them all the time on their big baits, but I had a bit of a crack at making them. The idea of them is they'll just screw into the belly like this. They should level the bait out. At the moment it's got a little bit of a lean on it, but with that extra weight in the belly, I reckon it'll straighten it up. We'll give it a go and see anyway. Yep, that's good. That straightened it right up. Anyway, pretty bloody happy with how that's going. It's swimming awesome. It's like I designed it with that smaller tail. The tail's very small in comparison with the body, but as you've seen in that last video just before this, last bit of footage, sorry, it's got a really good little wobble on it. I'm really happy with it. Anyway, hopefully I'll get a couple more videos out in the next few months of actually fishing this lure, so stay tuned. Next video will be me out fishing this live for some big barra. Anyway, cheers for watching.